Well, the Ravens just inadvertently saved Kevin's life, so... guess we have to thank them for that. And so, Chapter 2 begins. And here's our party for the time being. Next destination, Zeiss. Except, yes, Estelle, we do have some things we need to take care of before we go. Huh. Maybe she's going to show all those photos she took to Niall. True, again, accidentally, but still. So yes, if you go to the orphanage right now, you will find they aren't there. True. I mean, Zeiss is right over, we just need to go through the Caldia tunnel. I love the way that Olivier describes, like, everything. So, before we do anything else, though, let's check the bulletin board. We have one new quest, Recruiting Great Gamblers. Ah, its term is long. Okay, then, so I guess you can do this later. But there's also another hidden quest that has to be done right now. Before that, though, we should probably take care of Recruiting Great Gamblers, which we can do right here by talking to this lady. But you want to make sure that you save beforehand. Reason being, this isn't just a matter of getting more BP. If you make the wrong choices in this quest, it's basically a dialogue tree and you have to do everything exactly right. But if you get it wrong, you don't get anything from this quest. You fail it entirely. Even if you're not on 100% run, you want to save before doing this. I actually really like the name Lakeisha, but anyway. So, her husband is a gambling addict, and the best way to make him stop is to crush him utterly. So, that's what we've been recruited for. Fortunately, we have a bit of experience at playing the games here. Yeah, that's what they all say. Well, you didn't know that he'd end up getting addicted. Hopefully 1,000 mirror is enough for him to take the bait. And I'm sure they've made him nice and comfortable when they realized that he was playing a lot. Well, not if you play certain games. Poker's definitely a very strategic one. It's much more about what you do with the cards you're given than, you know, the actual cards that you're given. Okay, so he is a terrible liar, which is exactly like me, so yeah. Like, I consider myself relatively okay at virtual poker, but I would be terrible at real poker because I am awful at bluffing, and I have a terrible poker face, so I just, yeah, would never do that. It's been like that since I was a kid, and I played Stone Soup, which is a kind of a kiddie variant of the game that's called Cheat, or something a bit less PG, where basically you have to put, like, pears and other things like that down on a pile, and you're supposed to lie and put down cards that are not appropriate. The twist was that in Stone Soup, there were stone cards, and the only way to get rid of them was to cheat. And anytime I would put a stone in, I would just start giggling like a maniac, so yeah, I am really, really bad at bluffing. Olivier, you've... Actually, wait, no, you weren't with us when we checked this place out. Estelle, you've been here, though. I guess I didn't expect you to discover this place until now. I don't think there are any dice games here, so the term high roller doesn't really make any sense. I'm embarrassed that it took me so long to realize that that's what the term high roller came from. Someone who rolls well in dice games. Well, he's already let success go to his head. We must change that. He doesn't exactly make an effort to hide. It's kind of interesting, it seems like he's playing blackjack, but blackjack's not the table that he's on. That's the poker table. $1,000's actually not much in the grand scheme of things, but still. Don't know, like, roughly how much that's supposed to be in universe. Okay, so this is going to be like a tag battle. We're going to form a team of 3 and challenge him one after another. But whoever wins once wins the whole thing. And you're only allowed 1 fold. And so, no Chloe this time. And she never plays, it's always your partner character and Olivier who join you for this one. True, even if she's not going to the school right now, it would reflect badly on the establishment that she comes from if she were to be caught doing this, so yeah. Not to mention that she's the princess. There could be rumors if word got out. Oh boy, pride before a fall, it seems. Well, I mean, there's only one way to set an order if there's only one of you. Yes, how do you want to do this? It's kind of like what happens if you would get a kill on a boss monster with chain attack in this game. Of course you did. I'm guessing if Joshua was here, he'd pretty much kill this, because he's amazing at bluffing and deception. You know, I can see that. I feel like Olivier would actually be pretty decent at this kind of thing. He's probably played quite a bit in his time, too. So the order is actually different on the Scherer route. In that one, Estelle goes first, and Scherer goes last. But it's the reverse on this one. In other words, he has no confidence in us. Kinda literally in this case. Even if what you gotta do is gambling in this case. But it's for a good cause, it's to break this guy's gambling addiction. So, round one, begin! Okay. Spade, hearts, diamonds, and then clubs. And we even get to see the cards we're dealt. Yeah, that's not a great hand. That's possible. You need both a 6 and a 7, though. And he says he has a good hand. But Olivier is warning us against taking that at face value. Again, if this guy is gonna try and bluff, he's obviously do a good job of it. So, you basically get a set of choices for this. It's all basically just a dialogue tree. Here, we're in the first round. It doesn't really make sense to go for a low odds, high payoff combo. Let's just play it safe. Okay, changing 3 cards. I'm guessing that means that you've got a pair at least. And we have complete junk. But at least his poker face is good. See, again, it's not so much about what kind of cards you get, it's more about how you play them. Remember that you can only fold once. For the first round, the correct answer is actually to challenge. And obviously he didn't expect that, which pretty much directly reveals that he was bluffing this time. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I played the Agate route. Agate successfully intimidates him into folding. Yeah, your various partner characters do use their unique strengths in this. And that's used up his fold, so he's forced to challenge now. And we still have our fold left. So, overall, that worked out pretty well for us. So for those wondering, which I think you do find out, I think you find this out on the other route, but he had a pair of jacks for that hand. So he actually would have won if he'd chosen to challenge us. But again, it's more about how you play your hand than what hand you have. But here's a round that I'm really interested in. Let's see how Olivier plays. Definitely not, and unfortunately Lady Luck generally doesn't treat Olivier too well, so let's hope his bluffing skills are up to par. What's our hand this time? Okay, we've got a pair. And he's being vague. But he's not obviously bluffing this time. Now, Olivier's round is exactly the same regardless of which route you're on. The correct answer is to exchange all cards leaving the pair. Two. Okay, so he's keeping 3. Two pair. Yeah, you wouldn't think that at first, but he's actually pretty good at this. But yeah, it's kind of obvious that something's up here. Thing is, if we challenged and won, that would be the end of it, and Estelle wouldn't get to play, and obviously this has to go to all 3 rounds for the purposes of drama, so we actually have to fold for this one. And that's just putting the old psychological warfare on him as well. So I believe he had 3 aces for that one, so you would have lost if you challenged. It was, unfortunately you didn't win. So it all comes down to this. It's all on Estelle, unfortunately. Can she do it? The cards will tell. You must believe in the heart of the cards. And then the heart of the cards will give you a card with a middle finger on it. That was a joke I heard someone make a long time ago. Okay. Again, Olivier's actually not bad at this. And so, final round. Neither side can fold. Whoever has the best hand wins. And nothing. Yeah, we do have 9, 10, and Jack. If we got an 8 here, we could get something. Okay, he changed his tune quickly. He clearly has something decent. Yeah, really the best you could get is just a pair or something, so... So, for this one, you actually have to go with Olivier's suggestion and throw caution to the wind. For once, we're trusting Olivier. Again, he seemed to know what he was doing. And so Olivier's secret technique shows itself once more! I love how even the receptionist sweat drops. Are you really, Estelle? Okay, showdown time. Well, that's terrible. That's really terrible for us. What are the chances of that happening? Yeah, that's a hand that even some professional poker players never see in their entire careers. Of course, the chance of 2 royal flushes is almost nothing, but there's a reason this happens. Remember at the beginning of this side quest? The dialogue about the hierarchy of suits. Obviously that was going to be important sooner or later. They wouldn't bring that up if it wasn't going to be important. Except I think you all know what just happened. There is no way that could have happened by coincidence. Even Estelle picked up on that. I mean, as they always say, it's not cheating unless you get caught. And I guess we're cheating for a good cause, stopping this guy's gambling addiction. Another line that I just can't help but picture voice acted. That would be kind of interesting to see. That would be kind of amazing. So, believe it or not, this quest is actually the main reason why I chose Agate to be the partner for this part of the game. Because on the Shera route, she is the one who cheats, and you don't get that moment with Olivier. I just kind of prefer this version. The one where Estelle trusts Olivier and her trust actually ends up being founded. You still end up having to cheat to win, but I just find this outcome more interesting than Shera just outright cheating herself. Yeah. And that's why I don't go to casinos, because they're businesses, they need to make money, and because of that, the games are always rigged so that even if it's very tiny, statistically the house makes money. When I was a kid, I read a book on probability that had an interesting example of it. Talked about this one guy who came up with this gambling game that was very slightly rigged in his favor, and then he changed the rules later and it ended up very, very slightly against him, like 49.999% or something. But he played it a lot, and statistically, he ended up losing pretty much everything. Which just goes to show that things even out in the end with the law of averages, usually, unless you're playing Fire Emblem. Especially 3 houses where for some reason 30% hit rate gambas just tend to hit all the time. But that's beside the point. What we want to do next is we want to head to Hotel Blanche because there's actually a hidden quest for us available here. So I actually thought that I might as well show the Shera route version of this quest because the dialogue and thus the choices you have to make to win are slightly different this time. The first divergence here is selecting the order. Because this time, like I mentioned on the Agate route, Estelle does not go last. You actually get a nice little bit of backstory here too. Totally makes sense Joshua would always beat her. And it makes sense Shera would be good at this kind of thing, so on this route, Shera ends up going last. And as it turns out, she means this very literally. And Olivier always takes up the middle position. So it means that Estelle's up first this time. Which means there's no real pressure on her. Though, actually there is, because if you choose the wrong choices with her, you still end up failing. So here's Estelle's starting hand. Just one pair. And her poker face is terrible. Just like Agate, you have the option to go for a riskier play, but it's not necessary at this point, because Filio is still obviously bluffing. So the correct choice here is to go for the easy option. So we're stuck with just a pair. But it helps that Filio is just as bad, if not even worse at bluffing than she is. So if you fold once, you can't fold in the second round where you need to, so we have to challenge here. But let's see how Estelle handles this one. He's still pretty surprised that you're challenging. Estelle doesn't even need Agate's major intimidation techniques to beat him into folding. Which is pretty impressive. Yeah, so by baiting him into doing that, it means that he has to challenge from now on. So I'll be skipping ahead to the final round, because Olivier's round is always the same. And so, the final round. Let's see how she ends up playing this one. So here you actually have... You only need 2 more spades to get a spade royal flush. I think she's one of the few who actually directly try and look for tells in her opponents. He's still reacting exactly the same way, though. So, in this case, it's less about trusting Olivier and more about going for the bigger option, because it's your best chance of winning. Yeah, so in this case, it's actually pretty different. There's no direct meddling by Olivier here. Shera has the entire trick planned herself. It does actually give a few hints as to certain things in Shera's past that we'll be finding out about later, though. And as usual, he has the heart royal flush, somehow. And that's very true in this particular case. not quite. We still get a cut in here. Only one for this route, though. At least Estelle can actually notice what's going on. So you still win with the same hand, it's just Shera cheating for one card rather than Olivier giving Estelle the entire thing. So, like I said, I prefer the other route because you get that moment of Estelle trusting Olivier and that trust paying off. You don't get that moment here at all. And it's definitely a significant moment for Olivier's development within the party's dynamics. And now they're figuring it out. You know, to be honest, even if they did notice, they're probably fine to see that guy's streak broken. And so, yeah, that's the Shera route. So, next, I'm going to show one more thing for this quest. So, I thought I'd also show what happens if you don't beat this guy. If you're forced to challenge with Olivier's round, you always lose. So that's why you can't fold for the first one. Even though we have two pair, as you'll see, he has three aces. There's actually quite a lot of dialogue for this, because there are a lot of different ways that you can potentially lose. And at least here it becomes obvious as to why you failed, folding in the first round. Yeah, they do kind of beat you over the head with that. So yeah, you actually fail this quest entirely and get no BP at all. That's why you need to make sure you save before doing this one. You actually get guilt-tripped pretty heavily for this too. This is one of the very few quests in this whole series that you can actually outright fail like this. But even if you do, they mention that the casino's probably going to stop him from winning eventually. Obviously, they're not going to want her husband to completely clean them out. So either way, his gambling addiction will probably be broken. And if we check the Brace notebook on this, you'll notice that it has a scribble next to it, which normally happens if you miss the deadline for a quest. So yeah, that's about everything that I wanted to show for this one. This ended up going on quite long, so the next side quest for Ruan will be in the next video. So I'll see you then for that.